Hello. Que vergonha. So, I'd like to start by apologizing because I've got a cold and my voice sounds kind of rough right now. So, yeah, I don't really know how much you do know about electronics, so I'm going to explain as best as I can. Uh, this here is what we call a T flip-flop, and it basically changes the output every time it receives a pulse. So if you hit this button, it's it goes high, and when it receives another pulse, it goes low, and this they work infinitely. Yeah. The interesting thing about this model that I'm using is that it only activates on the falling edge of the pulse. So if the input goes high, nothing happens. It only changes when the in, input goes low. Does that make sense? Yeah. The good thing about that is that we can plug the output of a T flip-flop on the input of another one, and that makes it easier to make a counter. Here I make a counter that goes up to 4, so it's from 0 to 3. Yeah, here, just look. When that goes low again, that goes high, so... Oh, fuck. Yeah, it works. And we just... Since this is a simple concept, we can extend it really easily just by copying and pasting the design. The problem with having a 4-bit counter though is that since I want to make a one decimal digit counter, we need it to reset whenever it reaches 10, so it only counts from 0 to 9, because the uh, 4 bit 4 bits counts up to 15 or 16, and yeah, that's a problem that we can solve that by using uh, a couple of AND gates that blocks these blocks specific digits from turning whenever it reaches 9. So you see here, it's the equivalent of the number 7, this is 8, and this is 9. So the normal counter would go to 10, but since we're disabling this number from flipping, and we're flipping this one again, it goes from 9 to 0. See? But there is a little delay there, a quite noticeable delay. Therefore, I had to make another way of making it work, and this is it. It's really messy, really messy, and it's it's kind of hard to explain, but it is the thing, the modulo 10 counter, as you can see on these torches. It goes up to 9 and it resets. See? Yeah, it's messy, I'm not proud of it, but it works, and that's what counts, right? And we take this output and we throw it in a decoder. This is a decoder, and that's what it does. It takes a a binary input that in this case it's 1 and 1, but it shouldn't be. Oh yeah. And it only turns the fourth light on. If if I start changing the numbers, you'll notice it. You will notice the behavior of it. It will uh, only light up the yes, não, você ajuda aqui que eu falo. Como que eu falo que ele ativa um número respectivo? Como que é respectivo em inglês? Respective. So it only lights up the respective light to the binary one. Basically, when both are off, it will turn on the first light. When it's 1, it will turn the second light. When it's 2, it will turn on the third light, and so and so. I also forgot to mention that there's the clock of the thing. Everything on a purple wool is a clock. It's carrying the clock. And here we have well, there's the decoder, but it's deactivated because as you can see there on that decoder, it kind of has a delay from going from one bit to the other. It turns on the next light before turning off the first light, and that would make it kind of messed up. I'm going to show you here. If both the numbers 1 and 2 are give me a second. If both no. Yeah. If both the output representing the digits of the why it's not working? Oh. If the outputs of the number 1 and if both the outputs of the number 1 and 2 is on at the same time, it will give something, an output like this that doesn't really exist. So I created this this enable disable thing that disables the counter every clock. It disables it for a brief period. See if I turn this off and turn the clock back on. Turn the clock back on. You will notice that every time it changes the number, it's not changing the number. Huh. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. You will notice that every time it changes the number, it blinks for a second, it turns off. So the display won't show you that messed up thing. It's kind of glitchy, you know, and I don't want that. I want something that works. And yeah, I'm sorry this video was so long, and I'm kind of having a hard time to speak English. I haven't really been practicing it much, but I hope you could understand that. Yeah, this is it. See ya. As always, it's a pleasure talking to you, Alex.